Morning everybody. I have absolutely no idea what happened with the live yesterday. It kept saying after we'd done it, it kept saying it was waiting and waiting and waiting to be uploaded. Then it suddenly appeared on my own YouTube channel under my name, and I thought, oh okay, so it's in. But then when I went back to the FPP channel, it still said it was loading, and then it just suddenly vanished. So I'm redoing it again so that you can actually see how to make the straight foundation kimono pattern. So let's get started. So like yesterday, I've got the piece number 1 stuck to the back of all of the left panel, the right panel and the centre bottom panel. Got them ready. I'm going to trim them up, and then we're going to chain piece the pieces between 1 and 2 on all 3 of them, because it's a lot easier to just chain piece when they're straight lines. Okay, so as you can see, they're up chain pieced, and if I can just show you there, look, you can just see how close that I'm stitching to the paper. I'm going to now, as you normally do, iron that piece back, give it a good press, and then fold down and trim the next lines, and then we'll chain piece the next ones. Now, as you can see with this piece, I've given myself plenty of fabric around. I'm not bothered that it's going to be wasted because it's just an old sheet. So that is the left and the right side of the kimono done. They just need trimming down. Now your trim line on this pattern is this dark thick edge. The 1/4 inch is already built in. The bottom centre panel just needs trimming, and this white piece adding to the bottom, so I'm just going to do that, and then we'll move on to the more complicated piece, which is the one with the angles. So as you can see, that's the bottom one. There's plenty of white left at the bottom. I've just left a big chunk of it because I want to be able to square it up afterwards. So that's that piece done. So that's 3 pieces done. We're now going to work on this one, which is the strange angled one. You're going to fold your paper back between 2 and 3, sorry, the 1 and 2, and you're going to trim your 1/4 inch off and get ready to add your angle. Okay, so here's your piece. This is my straight piece. Because it's just on a straight edge, you can just place your fabrics right sides together and just stitch next to your paper line. If you're sewing through the paper, you fold your paper back and obviously sew on the line. But I'll get that one done, and then we'll move to the next piece. So that's them 2 sewn on. I'm going to now trim them back. Then what I did for these 2 pieces, I've got I had a piece of fabric that was big enough to fit over, and I've just cut it on a diagonal, and that will make your angle close enough for you to stitch that on. And I've just realised I sewn number 4 on before I sewn on number 3, so I'm now going to unpick. Start again. So there's 1 and 2. Now number 3, if you make sure that your piece covers that angle do it on the right side of the fabric, and then you can see, so that's covering that shape, and then you just flick it back up onto there, and then stitch across your line, and that should get your angle perfect. Okay, now I'm missing a bit on this corner, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a slither of a piece. I'm going to just fold that back so that it's, and I'm going to just stitch without the paper in the way across that line, just to make sure that I've got enough fabric to cover that gap. So as you can see now, I've got plenty on the back of there now to cover that bit. Now we're going to add piece number 5. So again, you've got your bit that you've chopped off. You're going to make sure that you've piece covers your paper, and then you're just going to fold your piece back so that it lines up, and you should cover your fabric okay. But all the time you're repeating the same thing. Press it back, trim it down, get your next piece and sew it on. So now all your pieces are ready to be trimmed, and then once we've done that, we'll start and join them together. So start with your centre top panel and your centre bottom panel. Because you've now trimmed them up, I've left the bottom, as you can see. You're going to put the right sides together, take your papers away and sew your 1/4 of an inch to join the two together. There's your first two joined together. You're now going to take your right side, and put it to trim it at the top. You need to trim at the top. I haven't trimmed the sides or the bottom because I want to be able to add that, and then you're going to just join those two together now on the side. Take off your paper and join with your 1/4 of an inch. Now take your left side, which you've trimmed on the top and down the side, and you're now going to join those two together again. Just take your paper off and your 1/4 of an inch seam. One final piece to add, which is the top piece. Again, I've made mine white a lot bigger to make sure that I've got enough so I can, when I trim it down, it'll fit okay. So we're going to sew that on, and then the block will be done. So there's your block. I've just give it a good quick press, and then we're just going to trim it down to 6.5 inches. And again, I apologise for what happened yesterday. I just don't know why it didn't load up, but hopefully this one will go in and you'll be able to follow the instructions. Thank you.